Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So this video is going to be my Shop My Stash intro for the month of June. I can't believe it's already June, but here we are. It's actually not June yet for me. It's June for you though. It's the last day of May. That's when I'm filming this. So this month is actually going to be a little bit different just because I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be out of state for half the month, and I like to be able to review all the product that I talk about at the end of the month. So I decided whatever I choose for this month, I have to be able to bring with me and travel with and be able to use it all month long. I don't want to only use it for 1 week and then have to review it whenever I get back from my trip. So I decided to just go ahead and pick products that I feel like are my perfect like summery face, and everything had to go ahead and fit in one travel little makeup bag. So this is the bag that I'm using. All of my Shop My Stash products are in here. I didn't film like a little intro kind of thing for this intro for this month's video just because I was like trying to like be strategic about each product that I chose and to be able to have everything that I need, so that it's all in this bag. I also noticed that because I've been doing the Shop My Stash all year long, like this is my 5th or 6th month. May is the 5th month, so this is my 6th month of shopping my stash. I noticed like there's some products where I'm like bronzers, I'm like I know every single bronzer in my collection. Powders, I've used every single powder in my collection for a Shop My Stash, so I feel like it's almost redundant to keep reviewing them. So it kind of like was like, oh, like I feel like kind of like proud of myself because that's one of my goals for my low buy, is to be able to review everything in my collection. And there are certain categories where I'm starting to feel like I can review everything that I own. Not that I'm going to, I just want to be able to if I had to, like I want to know my collection. So basically, this is just an interesting hodgepodge of products this month. Some of the products are more new, some are recent first impressions I want to get to know better. So let's just go ahead and jump on in. Alright, so jumping right on in, the primer that I'm going to be using this month is the Paul & Joe Moisturizing Foundation Primer in 01. I did receive this through Octoly, and I used it a few months ago, and I remember liking it, and I chose it for a specific reason. I feel like this is hydrating, which I don't need to have the most hydrating primer ever during the summer, so it should be like just enough. And I don't know if you can tell, but it has like a base to it, like it has like a little tiny bit of coverage. So I feel like this is my ideal like no foundation primer. Like I do that a lot when I'm feeling lazy. I don't do foundation, so I just feel like this primer kind of evens the skin and looks beautiful without having to put foundation on top. I know it kind of sounds like I'm already reviewing this primer, but primer is one of those areas where I feel like I know all the products really well, and I have not used this in a while, so either way I am going back to an old product. So next for foundation, I have the IT Cosmetics CC Plus Color Correcting Full Coverage Cream Anti-Aging Hydrating Serum SPF 50+. So this is what it looks like. I have the shade Fair. You can tell I used quite a good amount of this already. I used it last summer and I really liked it. I definitely wanted to pull this out just mostly because of that SPF 50. I want to protect my skin. And I remember really loving this foundation so much for like that just like glowy like medium coverage, I would say. I actually did go ahead and grab my Ulta Beauty Moisturizing Foundation stick out just in case to see. I might have to put this underneath when I use this if it's a little bit too dark. It might be too dark. Sometimes I make it work, sometimes I can't. I don't know. We're gonna try it on its own today, but I remember really loving this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do one pump. See, I feel like it's just like that color where it's just a tiny bit too dark for me. I'm going to bring it down my neck. But I think I should be okay with wearing that alone. Especially with using like a little bit of a layer concealer. Yeah. I think I'm going to put the Ulta foundation stick back in the drawer. Before I forget, I think this sponge smells weird. I think it's time to throw away this sponge because it smells weird. Alright, for concealer, I pulled back out my Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Fair. This is my favorite ever. I feel like this is definitely a treat myself moment because I have been using so many other concealers every single month, just trying to use them, get my thoughts on them, and this is my favorite holy grail, so I'm so happy to be able to use it all I want this month. I actually already have 2 backups in different shades. Not really sure how I feel about the other shades, but I'm just going to go ahead and use this very lightly just to conceal and slightly highlight my face. This is also my go-to concealer when I'm not wearing any foundation or anything and I just want to cover up really quickly. I use this with my finger. I don't have to set it. I love it. Again, I feel like, oh man, I do need the sponge to blend that out. I feel like I'm reviewing that concealer, but I kind of am, because even though I'm shopping my stash, I know exactly how I feel about that one. The coverage is just so good. Alright, for powder, I'm just going to go ahead and use the RCMA No Color Powder. Just looks like this. Slowly but surely working my way through this powder. I really enjoy this, and it's just, it lightly sets without being cakey or dry. And I know everyone in the world used to love this powder, and now everyone else has moved on. But I'm still here. I'm going to be here till I use it up. So I'm just going to very, very lightly set with that powder. Just on the area I concealed, nowhere else. Alright, for bronzer, I went ahead and chose my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and I just have the shade Bronzer. This is one of my favorites. Again, it feels like a treat myself moment because I haven't been using it in a while because I've just been using so many other bronzers. Another part of my collection, I feel like I've gotten to know all of my bronzers really well. So here's what it looks like, and I'm just gonna go ahead and bronze up the skin. I also feel like this is like the epitome of like summer makeup, like that just like soft coconutty scent. It's really, really faint now though because I've had this bronzer for a hot minute, so I can barely smell it, unfortunately. I think if I were to repurchase this, I would get the shade Light Bronzer just to try it out, but I really love this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and bronze the forehead and cheeks and everywhere that you're supposed to bronze. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and do my brows, and I'll show you what I packed to do my brows for like travel makeup. This is actually like my everyday, like daily, like just chill, simple, not as bold brow, and I use the Anastasia brow powder duo in taupe, which looks like this, obviously very loved. And then I go over it with the Anastasia clear brow gel, which this is almost out. I've had it forever and there's like almost nothing left. But I think I actually do have a backup of this I might pull out. I actually think I have another little sample, and I have a full size one. But I personally really love the size of the sample. And that's like my everyday natural brow. Whenever you guys see me on camera, normally I am wearing the Dip Brow pomade in Auburn, which I use very, very lightly, as light as I possibly can. And I mean, I will go out and do things and go in public with this on and do like the bolder brows, but just like I feel like I can't see my brows very well whenever I'm not in like a really good lit situation like this. I can see everything. I have a really nice mirror, but if I'm just doing my brows really quickly, I prefer the powder because I just feel like it's easier and quick, and I don't have to be as precise. So that's what I'm going to do real quick. I just brush them upwards to start off with. If I'm feeling bold, I'll go in with the deep shade on the outer part of my brow and the light shade on the inner, but for my like really natural brow, I'm just going to go ahead and use the lighter shade. Just going to pick up a decent amount of that, and then I always start off on my tail and just go ahead and lightly fill that in. Now whatever's left on the brush, I just flick upwards right here, and then I just use tiniest amount of the clear brow gel just to set that all in place, because my hairs can be kind of unruly. They just like go wherever they want to go. So I just use the tiniest amount of this. And voila, that is my everyday quick brow. So speaking of everyday, sometimes I do use this on a daily basis. I'll use a primer that is more full coverage, like the Makeup Revolution. I do enjoy that depending on what eye look I do, but a lot of times I do want to go a little bit more natural. Even if I do something colorful, I just want it to be a little bit softer, especially like daily, just trying to do something quick, especially like on vacation. Like I don't want to spend like an hour doing my eye makeup. So I'm going to go ahead and be using the Ofra, what are you called? It's on the bottom. I'm like searching like the entire packaging. This is their eye gel primer, which I received through Octoly, and I am going to go ahead and just keep testing this out. It's just a more sheer eye primer, and I feel like that's what I would go for like a quick summery look. So that's what I'm going to pack and use for the month of June. I'm obviously still going to be using this as well, but this is what I'm going to bring on the trip with me, and this is what I want to be able to review in a month or so. So Alright, now for eyeshadow, I went ahead and chose two different palettes, and one is the Lethal Cosmetics custom single palette that I created, and I do have a full video on this I can link down below in case you are curious to see what all the shade names are, but I just want to test this out more, and I thought that these are really beautiful, fun shades, and I thought it would match really well with the other palette that I chose. So I also grabbed the Violet Voss Flamingo eyeshadow palette, which this is actually a first impression that I'm going to do right now because I have not used this at all yet. I've had it for months, and I've just been like, ooh, I'm going to use it during summer, and I'm like, well, summer is pretty much here, and I just feel like this is the perfect, like, traveling palette. I feel like there's so much water running in the background right now. I hope you can't hear that, but here is what the palette looks like. I feel like everything I need is here. There's like a lot of like really fun neutral shades and also pops of color and lots of matte shades to go with this, and to kind of do like half colorful, half neutral looks. I also thought this was a really good option just because it has like a gigantic mirror, which I appreciate when I'm traveling. So that's what I'm going to be using today. I think I'm mostly going to be using the Violet Voss, and then I'll go in here for a highlight shade. I think I'm going to do something really simple. I'm just going to go ahead and start off with this matte shade right here called Coral. I'm going to throw that in my crease. I'm going to go ahead and grab just a little bit of this orange right here called Sandals, and I'm going to pop that on my outer V. And then just going back in with the previous brush and blending that out. I'm also going to go ahead and take some of Sandals along the lower lash line. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and pop Seashell onto my eyelid. Ooh, that's a lighter pink than I thought it was. I'm going to grab this yellowy gold right here called Pineapple, and I'm going to pop that on the lower lash line. Last but not least, I'm going to pop Arsenic, this light shade right here from Lethal, onto my inner corner. Alright, this month I'm also going to be focusing on my Linda Hallberry Mood crayons. I'm not going to probably keep them in this little travel pack for when I take them with me, but I really want to just use these all month and be able to give like my full thoughts on them. So I think today I'm going to go ahead and use the yellow right here. I believe this is Happy Mood. Yes, it is. I'm going to pop that on my waterline. Really quickly, I'm just going to go ahead and throw on some mascara. Alright, for blush today, I am so excited because I got the Alamar Cosmetics Colorete Blush Trio in the shade Medium Tan. I got it in BoxyCharm in May, and I'm like, this is perfect for traveling. It's got a cute little mirror, such beautiful shades. So I was just like, I just knew I had to do this for my Shop My Stash for this month. And I'm going to go ahead and just grab a blush brush, maybe, if I could find one. I think today I'm going to go ahead and use this one right here called Seclusion. Just going to pop that on my cheekbone. Alright, so I have a few different highlighter options, which is probably no surprise if you know me at all. So first off, I chose a cream highlighter, and this is the Super Shock Cheek from ColourPop in the shade Lunch Money. Just looks like this. And I just haven't picked it up in a few months, so I figured I would go ahead and use it and get some good use out of it. I also thought it would be really pretty to match with my Amrezy highlighter from Anastasia. I really want to try that combo, so there's what that looks like. One of my favorites, but I just went ahead and picked it out. And then last but not least is my Ofra Pillow Talk. I feel like none of these highlighters I really need to review. Like, I already know them really well, but they're just my favorites. Like, look, I hit pan on this one. So that was the weirdest laugh ever, but those are just the highlighters I wanted to use for June, basically. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with a little bit of Lunch Money, and I'm going to tap that on top of my cheekbone right here. I'm going to use the Amrezy highlighter on top. I'm just going to go back in with my blush brush and just blend that out on the bottom just a little bit. I feel like I am having such a good skin day. It's because I chose all my favorites. Setting spray, I just went ahead and chose the Catrice Prime and Fine Dewy Glow Fixing Spray, just because it's the smallest setting spray that I have. It's actually all the way down here. So if I run out of this one before I, like if I'm almost finished it before I even start the trip, I already have a backup. So I'll just go ahead and switch it out. But I figured I'd just take this because it's the most like space friendly, and I really love this setting spray. So I'm just gonna shake it. Alright, so last but not least is lippies. I have two bullet lipsticks from Gerard Cosmetics that I chose out. I have Buttercup and Nude. Here's Buttercup. It's like a pinkier nude. And then Nude is like a neutral nude. Just looks like this. I received these as PR, and I haven't used them very much, so I just want to be able to review this formula, so I picked those two out. I have one nude gloss, which is the, what is this called? The Holla Gloss by P. Louise. I haven't been reaching for this very often just because P. Louise is not cruelty free anymore in my opinion, because they sell a pair of mink lashes. But I did really remember liking this nude gloss, so I figured I would just pull it out and use it in conjunction with the bullet lipsticks. I also chose the coconut lip oil from Ulta Beauty just because I feel like it's hydrating and I haven't been remembering to use it. It smells so good. So it's, I don't know. It smells just like coconut, so I just thought I would pull this back out. And then last but not least, just for a tiny bit of color, I really love the Amy Hearts Beauty Good Girl Gloss. It looks like this super bright pink, but it's more of like just a very sheer hot pink shade. It's really just like luscious on the lips, so I went ahead and chose that as well. To be honest, I did make an order from Jaclyn Cosmetics for some of the new lipsticks, so if those come before I leave for my trip, I will definitely be bringing those with and trying them the entire time so I can review them whenever I get back. But today I'm just going to go ahead and use the Good Girl Gloss. I normally like to put this on like the inside eye lips first, and then I'll just rub together. Alright guys, so this is the finished look. It was definitely super simple, just like my soft, very vacation-y face. So I hope you guys enjoyed this month's intro. I know it was a little bit different than it's been in the past, where it's like all a bunch of products I haven't used in forever. This month is like the travel edition of Shop My Stash, but either way, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.